Jackie Cody, and I am the president of the Towson University Family Network Board, as well as the secretary, Gina Anthony, is on the line. And we have our members of the board, Charla Foltz and Constance Abercrombie, are also on the line. Our liaisons to the board are Catherine Nords and Candace Collins. They are on the line, and we're here to assist you. You can put your questions in the chat, but before we begin, I am so delighted and excited to have the president of Towson University on the line with us, the 15th president of Towson U, which is #1 public university in Maryland and only second to Johns Hopkins University. I hand the floor over to President Mark Ginsberg. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you, Jackie. It's a great honor and good to see everybody. It's great to have about 100 people on the line with us. And thank you to you, Jackie, for leading the organization and bringing all of our family members together for chats regularly and to keep us all informed about what's happening at TU. Thanks also to Gina, members of the board, and all the other folks who have been so important in gathering families together and creating, formulating, and supporting families of students who are at Towson University. It's a great privilege to welcome you. We're just about ready to begin academic year 24-25, less than 3 weeks away. In less than 3 weeks, we'll have about 5,000 new Tigers move into our campus dormitory facilities. We'll begin classes in just about 3 weeks, and we are ready. We've been preparing all summer. We've been looking forward to that day. And as I often tell folks at the university, if you're an educator and you work at university and this is an exciting time of the year, you probably ought to find another job, because this is the time of excitement. This is the time of excitement where we welcome new students and bring our returning students back to campus for what I hope will be another inspiring, successful, and really engaging year. Campus, we graduated over 4,000 students back in middle of May. And this summer is a time when many of us get a little bit of a respite and refresh. Although this summer, it's been a really busy summer on our campus as we prepare for the fall, but as we welcome many students to summer programs on campus. One of the most important things we did this summer is to open up a new building. And for those of you who have not been in our campus for a while, I would love to welcome you and give you the opportunity to see our new College of Health Professions, which is a showcase. Probably one of the nicest buildings of its kind in the country, and it will be a building that will be help to continue to transform our academic programs in the College of Health Professions. Also, if you've not been on the campus in a little bit, you may notice when you return that Smith Hall, one of the older buildings on our campus, is half gone. About half of that building has been taken down, and the other half has been dismantled, as a new building will be wrapped around the half that remains, and a new wing of the building be built for the part that we've taken down. And so Towson University continues on an upward trajectory with facilities that are absolutely incredible. But even more importantly, as I begin my second academic year as president of this incredible university, it's what's happening in the buildings, to me, that's even more inspiring and exciting than the facilities itself. Having great facilities is necessary, but having great happenings in the buildings is what's essential to creating a great university. And Towson absolutely is a great university. As Jackie said, we were recently ranked as the #1 university in Maryland, #1 public university in Maryland. Money Magazine just listed us as one of the best values in education in the country. And we're very proud of the trajectory of the university, which continues to grow, the rankings which continue to increase, but perhaps even more importantly, the experience that our students have. When I came to Towson, I said that I had really a singular objective, and that objective remains, and that's the success of our campus, the success of our students, the success of our staff, and the success of our faculty. And I am focused like a laser on the success of your students, so that they will have an inspiring and engaging experience at TU, an experience that prepares them for life, not just for a career, but really prepares them for success in their life. Our focus as we continue to engage our students is very much on the essence of what has made TU what has created greatness for our university. This spring, I conducted 60 listening tour sessions on our campus and in the community. I visited 13 counties in the state of Maryland, and will continue to engage and listen as our administration continues to grow the success of the programs. And a couple of things that I've heard throughout these sessions, within almost 3,000 members of our campus community participated in these listening sessions. And what I learned were several important things. One is not to lose the essence of what TU has been, not to lose the essence of our focus on teaching, our focus on learning, our focus on exceeding expectations, and our focus on the success of our students. To prepare them for, as I said earlier, success in their career, but also success in their life. And we will continue to focus like a laser on success. You know, I'm very much focused not only on the success of our students, but the experience that they have. And some of you may know that my wife and I actually live in one of the residence halls on campus. And we do that really intentionally because we very much want to be embedded with the students of our university, to experience what they experience and to help them to be sure that their experience is the best possible. And so as we welcome about 5,000 new Tigers to campus over the next couple of weeks, I hope that we can also welcome our new Tiger families, and to be sure that we all work together on that laser focus, the success of our university, the success of our students, as well as success of our faculty and staff. So Jackie, thank you so much for inviting me to participate this morning. Hope to meet many of you over the course of this semester and in the years ahead. Go Tigers, and let's have a great 24-25 academic year. Again, thanks so very much. Welcome to everybody. Good to see so many of you on the Zoom this morning.
Yay. Thank you so much, President Ginsberg. And I'll be in touch because I want to go with you when we go to the governor and elected officials to make sure that they're supporting Towson University. So I'll be with you with that. Thank you so much.
That sounds great. Look forward to that too. Have a great day.
All right. You too. Take care. Great. So now we have our housing administrators here. I think I see Abbas and I'm sorry, I didn't remember the names. Catherine?
It should be Abbas and Ariel who are here.
Right. Okay, and Ariel. Right. Right.
Well.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. You know what? We're just gonna hand it right over to you. You'll introduce yourselves, and I want to let everyone know to put your questions in the chat. We'll get to the questions, and or there'll be a point where you can raise your hand and ask your question yourself. There's one thing I do want to say for the record. I'm representing, thank you, Towson, just can't see it. But I have on my Towson shirt. All right, thank you all. Abbas, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Cody, and thank you, President Ginsberg. We appreciate you being here. Hello, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and hopefully you all can see. Dr. Cody, can you let me know? Are we good to go? Can everybody see me? All right, cool. Okay, that's not right. All right. So we are going to, just one moment, I apologize. You know, technology is a thing, so we want to make sure we recognize that. I have two screens and two monitors, so it's trying to extend to another one. And presentation mode.
That, let me just take one moment before I leave, and I've got to run off to another event yet this morning.
Please do.
I really want to thank our great staff, our housing staff, our student affairs staff, our residence life staff for all that they do, because they are fundamental to assuring the success of our students and the experience of students. So thanks to the team that's with us today, and thanks for all the behind the scenes and all the work that you've all done all summer to make this fall semester a great one.
Thank you so much, President.
Good to see you all. Let's have TU pride and go Tigers. Take care, everybody.
Good to see you too. And apparently this is still popping up like this. So we're just gonna go ahead and
Abbas, if you want to have someone on your team email it to me, I can share screen for you if you'd like.
I think we're okay. Is this all right? Everybody see this?
Mm-hmm.
So we're just adapting. Hi, my name is Abbas Hill. I'm the Director of Housing Operations for the Department of Housing and Residence Life. And this is our marketing team. Ariel Archer is our Marketing and Communications Coordinator. And Michaela Ha is our marketing and communications graduate assistant who will be in the chat answering any questions that might come up along the way. I would preface that like we do have some information to share with you. So hopefully as we go through this information, it answers a lot of the questions that many of our families have come with. All right. So today's agenda, we're going to go over move-in dates, so folks are reminded of that. The move-in process, going a little bit more in depth with that. The concept of signing up for a move-in time slot, kind of briefly touch on or spend some time about fall triples and then go over the break schedule dates as well. Some of this information is familiar for folks who went through orientation, but as you know, and if you were at that session, I had like 5 minutes to kind of like regurgitate all this information to you. So we're going to take our time a little bit so that we can make sure that our families know what's going on, so that when the students get these emails, a lot of this is not a surprise for our families. All right, so our move-in dates. So we are, for our incoming students, as I want to be mindful of the fact that we have a myriad of family members. We have family members for incoming students and returning students that are likely here. Our incoming students will move in Wednesday, August 21st and August 22nd. We basically provide the students with access to move-in time slots based on the last, the first letter of their last name. So folks whose last names begin with A through J will have access to select on Wednesday, August 21st, and then likely the same for K through Z for August 22nd. Time slots will be from 9 to like 3 that they will be able to choose from, and those time slots are staggered. So it's 1 hour time slots that stagger every 30 minutes. So one student might choose a 9 to 10 a.m. Another student might get on and choose a 9:30 to 10:30. Okay. For our returning students, these are students who have already attended TU and are coming back. Their move-in times are August 23rd and August 24th. And their time slot starts on 1 o'clock on Friday because of the convocation activities that take place for incoming students that Friday morning. So we start a little bit later for returning students on Friday, but we are there for them for the rest of the afternoon, and then they have all day Saturday to move in as well. Some students do fall under the early arrival criteria, and so they might be in marching band, or they might be a part of a living learning community. They might be a part of the honors program. Those students will receive confirmation of their early arrivals. Actually today, just letting them know that they're confirmed for as an early arrival, and all of their information about whether or not, like how to select the move-in time slots for early arrival will be in an email next week. And so students who are part of LLC should have already received confirmation emails that they're part of LLC, and then did mention their early arrival date in there. We're going to send just another confirmation. So they would have gotten, by the end of the day, like 3 emails from us confirming that move-in date. All right. So the move-in process. So students will move in based on their selected time slot, and they will come to lot 8. Families will come to lot 8, and students will come up to TU Arena, and they will come in through gate 2, which is right here. So folks might want to walk up and come right in through this door, but it's actually the side door, gate 2, that they will come in. They will go through the centralized check-in, and then they will leave out of the door that they were probably inclined to come into. They'll leave out of gate 1. So that is the process there. They will start at the arena and get their room key, and they will get all their move-in information. They will get a welcome to TU schedule, so on and so forth. And then they will be directed to go to their buildings to unload. And so we ask that folks, for the families and students, to arrive on time, or at least within 30 minutes of their start of their time slot, just so that it can help us with the flow of traffic, and so that we are making sure the process and the experience is a positive one for everyone. So at centralized check-in, students will need their one card to pick up their key. And so it's vital that students follow the processes that orientation shared with them. If students weren't able to pick up their ID during orientation for whatever reason, please do their one card application prior to coming to you. Actually, I think we're going to send out an email reminding folks in the next few weeks. We'll do an audit of folks who haven't done it and send out targeted emails to those students. But it's vital because if they wait until they come, like we will have the one card office there, but if they haven't done their application and taken their picture and so on and so forth, like that can be a lengthy process, and we want to make sure that people aren't waiting in a lot of lines when they get to check in. Okay. But if a student does have their one card, they can proceed through the check-in process. Like I said, where they'll receive their room assignment, because students receive the building assignment, so they know which residence hall they're living in already, but they won't get their room assignment until check-in. They'll get their room key. They'll get their building information sheet that gives them a little information about their residence hall. And then they'll get a move-in parking permit. And that move-in parking permit, we only give it to one per student, because that is how the student is allowed and their families are allowed to come in front of the buildings and unload. And so, like I said, the students will be directed to their assigned building. We just talked about this. Please have your student, if they haven't got their one card, complete the one card application and submit their picture as soon as possible so that we can make sure that a card is printed for them. And please note that if your student hasn't received or applied for their one card, they do not have to return to campus prior to move in to pick up that one card. If they do the one card application, submit the picture, and everything's approved, the one card office will print the ID and we'll have it ready for students when they arrive for check-in. So you do not have to come back up to pick up your one card prior to move-in. And then the one card office will be at the 2U Arena with us for the centralized check-in days. So for moving in, so everybody, like I said, students will get one move-in day parking permit, and it will allow students to bring their car near the building and utilize a 15-minute unloading zone to move in their belongings. And so it's very important to note that on that move-in parking permit that students will get, on the back of that permit, there will be directions to the buildings and there will be signage as well. We have wayfinding signs to help students and families find their way to their residential communities. If students have more than one car with belongings in it, they will basically have to kind of tag team. So the first car will come up, unload. The other car will need to park in the parking garage. Once the first car is unloaded, they would need to then meet that car back at the parking garage that they're at, and then give them the parking permit so that they can go and they can unload as well. We can't have two cars back to back unloading because it's just not fair and equitable to the other families that are coming and trying to unload. We want to make sure the traffic is not backed up as much as possible. There's going to be so much that we can't control. That piece we definitely can. Incoming students arriving on August 21st and 22nd will have the support of move-in crew helpers to assist with unloading their cars. So we will have a team of folks there to help kind of swarm the vehicles, to kind of help get the items unloaded into a cart so that we can make sure that the car can keep moving, and at no time should any vehicle be left unattended. We have to do that so that people won't go up and then forget that their car is parked out there, and then we're backing up and making it an unpleasant experience for other family members. Our process cannot handle U-Haul or oversized vehicles, so we just ask that families plan ahead with that. Multiple cars, if like I said, there's that tag team that can happen, but there is like a size limit for the garages, and I don't have that height. I was looking for it like all morning and I couldn't find it. But I will make sure that when we send the email for move-in to our students that we highlight the U-Haul and oversized vehicle piece and put in the height of the vehicles that won't be able to make it into the parking garage. So we want to make sure nobody's vehicles get damaged during the process. We just talked about that. Once cars are empty, they go to the nearest parking garage. So here are the three areas on campus. So this is our West Village. where our West Village apartments are, Barnes, Marshall, and Towson Run. Where our West Village houses are, which is Barton, Douglas, Tubman, and Harris. And then where Millennium Hall is our capstone building where they're located as well. And then we have, and this is where the West Village garage is. So it services basically everything. It's really mostly residential parking here. And here is Towson Town, where all of the residence halls for Newell, Richmond, Freedom and Scarborough. We have Residence Tower over here somewhere, I believe, right here, and then we have we have 10 West, which is right here. And 10 West has its own parking structure, but during move-in, students can only unload during the 10 West during those move-in days, and then they have to go park in long-term parking after they unload. They will be ticketing and removing vehicles, and so we want to make sure that nobody falls into that category. So it's just that there's so limited, the parking is so limited in 10 West that there's no way that we can have vehicles parking long-term during check-in. But the parking garage that will be long-term is this one here. This is the Towson Town parking garage. And there's also another parking garage here, and I believe this is the Glen parking garage, if I'm not mistaken. And that will service all of the Glen complex, which is Tower A, Tower B, Tower C. This year, Tower D is closed for renovations. And then this is the Union parking garage, which Tower A folks will use. I mean, actually, some of the other tower folks will use as well. So just wanted to kind of provide a map so folks kind of had an idea of where these parking garages are. And folks will be directed accordingly. And those directions will be on the back of the move-in permit on the move-in day. So students are arriving outside of the August 21st and August 24th centralized check-ins. They will just go directly to their residential community and they will check in there. So we would, if students are going to arrive late, we just ask that they email us so that we know that they're going to be late arrivals. We hope that incoming students are able to make it because we want to make sure that they're a part of the Welcome to TU programming. And they get that experience with the incoming class. So we can make sure that they're welcomed and they're adjusted by the time the first day of classes start. So we talked about move-in time slots. Students will receive an email on Tuesday, August 6th with detailed information about the move-in process and about how to select the move-in time slot. It was just way too much information to put in that assignments email. If parents and family members have already seen that email, you know it was already 2 pages long. We didn't want to make it 4. So we split the communication up, and that move-in information will come on August 6th. They will have a specific, there's going to be a specific number of time slots available per building. And every half hour, like I said, it'll stagger when they'll be able to select those time slots. And students will have a time entry to sign up for a time slot based on their building assignment. I'll show you an sample of that schedule that we used last year that we are finalizing for this year for the students. But students, once they sign up for a time slot, they can update their time, a move-in time after they've selected, and they can update their time slot only after everyone else has had an opportunity to select. So when I show you the schedule, it'll show when the last building can go, and then after that day, folks will be able to go back in and change their time slot if plans change with their families and they need to choose another time or another day. So this is a sample sign-up schedule. So as you can see, like we would have like Barton House would go on a certain date and they'll start at 9. So from 9 to 10, only Barton students can go in, Douglas, so on and so forth. And we do that so that the system does not crash. A lot of these housing portals can only take so many students being logged in at a time. And so we have to stagger this so that students won't have an unpleasant experience going through to select their time slots. We would ask that like after that time, that time window, that students like hop out of the portal so that other students can jump in and do what they need to do. And they would access all of this information at the same place that they've done everything else for housing. All of our housing applications and contracts, all of our forms, the move-in time slot selections, all that happens in the Student Housing Gateway. And this is the link here, but like it's also everywhere on our website, so that students can go in and do what they need to do. So I just mentioned this a few times, and incoming students will have a number of required sessions and optional events to attend throughout move-in weekend. We want to make it an exciting time for them, and so our campus partners have done an amazing job setting up a really great program, Welcome to TU, and so they will receive their Welcome to TU schedule during move-in, and that will detail what the student will need to attend. So during orientation, I mentioned that we'll probably have approximately 10% of our freshman residents that will be assigned to fall triples, and we absolutely did need to do that. Students who are in fall triples did receive an email with that information, and with some helpful information that helps them navigate being in a fall triple, as well as a link to a web page that shows some information about fall triples. And I can see here. So for the fall triples page, for anyone who's in a fall triple, it's important to just kind of have an overview of what being in a fall triple entails. And there's also some pictures about what it looks like too. So family members and students can go to see what a fall triple in the Glenn complex would look like, or a fall triple in the Barton or Douglas would look like. Okay, and so that link was included in the email for students who were assigned to fall triples. Students who are in fall triples, like I shared during orientation, will be provided with a 20% room refund, and it'll be assessed to their student account after one of the 3 students have been placed in their permanent assignment. And so it's very important to note that, trying to make sure that everybody understands that, because we don't want anybody to be expecting that refund in advance like that. We need to know how many weeks they were in a fall triple to know how much we can refund them. A lot of students actually last year who were in fall triples did end up requesting to just stay together. They had a great time and they had great connections with the other 2 individuals in their room, and they decided to do stay together agreements so that they stayed together for the entire academic year, and they received a 20% refund for the entire academic year as well. So here are some important dates. I shared this during orientation too, but I don't want to make the assumption that everyone's there. Here are some important dates for our residence halls when they close for breaks, for Thanksgiving, winter break, and spring break. It's very important to note that during these break periods, residence halls do close. We are not open, our staff is not there, and for safety reasons, we cannot have anyone in the building. So we share this in advance so that students and families can plan ahead and do what they need to do to ensure that they're able to vacate. And hold on, let me close Outlook. And so it's just very important to note that that these are the closures. We do have 9-month communities, and 9-month communities are communities that do not close during break. And those communities are Residence Tower, any of our apartments communities like Barnes, Marshall, Towson Run, 10 West, and then Harris Hall is a Capstone managed community, and there are students in Harris Hall who have options to opt in for 9-month contracts. But if the student is assigned to Harris Hall and they did not sign up for a 9-month contract, they would also have to leave during breaks as well. And then of course, May closing. I know that that is something that we're already talking about, but yeah, the academic year is going to end at some point. And so we want families to know when that happens too, and our halls actually close during that time as well. So it's just some important dates that we wanted to share out and make sure everybody was aware. And with that information, before I pause for questions, I did want to highlight and just provide some general updates regarding the wait list. And so this year, we have hundreds of students on the wait list, and our housing capacity exceeds our demand. And the university is definitely looking into, we're working to look into how do we meet the needs of our students, and actively looking at and planning for that. But at this time, like, we just do not have enough beds to house the number of students who are requesting housing. So for those students who are on the wait list, we've communicated with them every week, letting them know what their wait list position is. Some weeks there's movement, some weeks there's not, and that's just because we are waiting for cancellations so that we can backfill and get students off of the wait list. And so if students are like having a change of heart, maybe they don't want to live on campus this year and they want to reside home, we ask that if those cancellations are looming and they are sure that they want to cancel as soon as possible, so that we can make sure that we can get other students from the wait list into the residence halls, so that we can relieve some of that anxiety for a lot of our students. And so we know that this is something, if we could house everybody, we absolutely would. We want to bring everybody in that we can. So with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Cody for any questions.
Very good. You got a lot of questions. So as a matter of fact, I think you answered a lot of the questions, but just to make sure that people understood, felt that their question was addressed. So the first question that came up was, she said it's from the Facebook group of class of 28. Are Glenn Towers co-ed by floor? Even if I know the answer, I'm letting you answer.
Dr. Cody, come on. I feel like, you can answer that one. No, they are not co-ed by floor. So it's basically by quad. So there could be like one quad of males and one quad of female identified students, like right next to each other, but they wouldn't share the same bathroom. The only time that would happen is if students opted into a gender inclusive housing, in which they would share a bathroom in the same quad with students from different gender identities.
Great, thank you. Is Douglas House only for honors program participants, or are there non-honors students there too?
There will be non-honor students in there. Douglas House is the first priority to honor students, because that's the agreement that we have with the honors program, because their living learning community and the honors community is so large. As the honors community grows, though, like we might see itself being exclusively honors, but we fill it with honors first, and then after that we have non-honor students who are assigned there as well.
All students are honorable.
That's
I'll read two more, and then I'll ask if anyone has questions. You can raise your hand. What are TU's plans for working with families whose students' FAFSA applications have not been processed? Do you know that, or should we address that behind the scenes? Catherine, I think, might have an answer to that.
Catherine might know, but like that's a financial aid question, and I wish that I had the answer to. But I know that I would direct family members directly to financial aid, reach out to them during business hours so that they can check on the status of their financial aid application. A lot of times, from what I can recall, and Catherine, please, chime in, but it's sometimes it's something that they're waiting for. they're waiting for a document, they're waiting for something, and like either it got to the student, the email got to the student may have missed it or misinterpreted the email, and the family member doesn't know. So I would encourage, like when family members call up, to have their student nearby just in case there are questions that the student needs to answer. Because a lot of times, like, you know, some departments are very sensitive of FERPA, and they may not be able to share a lot at that time. But if you have the student with you, they could definitely confirm with the student and talk to you and give you all the information you need.
Great, excellent. And she go at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, they open, and they do have an answer to this, and they will work with you because they understand that there's been a problem. Was that you, Catherine?
Yes, I just wanted to say thanks. I don't have any answers to add, but I have included their various modes of contact in the chat.
Great, great. Thank you so much. Right before we recognize Tina, I want to ask Jason's question. Who's responsible for cleaning and supplying toilet paper in the bathrooms for the residents? I love this question because babies are on their own now.
That's right, Dr. Cody, that's right. This is part of the independent living. I mean, not independent living, but the independence, the development, the responsibility that we hope after living with us within our residential communities that students gain, is that level of independence and responsibility to do those things on their own. I will say that any Jack and Jill style bathroom or private bathroom in an apartment unit, anything behind the student's door is the student's responsibility. But if the student is assigned to, let's say, Freedom in Scarborough, like any place that has community bathrooms, we do have custodial teams that clean those and supply and resupply those as well. So that would be a nightmare trying to get like a number of students who are all sharing a bathroom to come up with a cleaning schedule to do those. But those community bathrooms, our cleaning staff takes care of.
Great, great. There's a lot of questions, so we're going to try to narrow everything down into 1 minute each, because I want to get to all the questions. So Tina, the floor is yours. You can unmute yourself.
Good morning. Thank you for all of this information. I really appreciate you all.
Good morning.
My question is, my son just received information that he was going to be assigned to Glen Tower A. So I didn't see Glen Tower A listed on that schedule that you popped up. I saw B, C, and D. So I'm kind of wondering about that.
Yeah, it was a sample schedule. So last year, A was closed.
Oh, okay. So it'll be open and
yes.
we can go in and do the time slot thing.
Yeah, that's exactly why I put that. This is just an example. So, but yes, they will get Tower A will be on there in place of Tower D. And then the next year we'll have all the towers back. So hopefully that'll help us out with our wait list issue as well.
Okay, and we don't have to wait
for that clarification.
And we don't have to wait for the roommate. We do it according to we pick a time slot for us going up there, right? We don't have to coordinate with the roommate.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tina. And Markia, I'll take your question, then I'll go back to the chat. Markia, you can unmute yourself.
Sorry, look, I was trying to unmute. I was like, where's the button? Hi, how are you?
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
Good morning, good morning. I had a question. My daughter is going to be in Newell. And I was reading online, it said that Newell, I know, and we saw it, I know it's basically community bathrooms, but then it said something about there could be suites, and I noticed on her email it said roommates and it said suite mates. So does that mean that she's in a suite? Like, how do I know? Just trying to figure out how to prepare for her bathroom needs. If she's going to have her own bathroom, or
I believe that she is one, but is in the suite. But if you want to call our office, like on Monday, like
okay,
we can if she has her room, well, she won't have her room number. So
right.
Yeah. So I believe that. Let me look into that. Markia, can you email our the housing at Markia? Can you do me a favor? I don't know if you know how to private message. If you know
Yeah.
how to private message, if you can message me your contact information, I'd be happy to follow up with you early next
Okay,
week.
perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Great, great. So, your question was next, actually, right, Markia? Because it
Yes, my
says, what is
question
the
was next. I had put that in the chat.
right? What is the difference between a suite mate and a roommate? Very good.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's a good question. Suite mates are basically so a roommate is somebody in the direct bedroom with the student. Suite mate is somebody who's in a unit that's adjacent to theirs that shares a resource with them. So most of the resources like bathrooms for apartments, like that would be like somebody in the next bedroom, like or somebody who's in another bedroom. So that is a difference. So it's likely that that's the case, Markia, but like I want to make sure that I don't want to say yes and not really know. So
I understand. I appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you
All
so much.
right, great. So, I'm gonna come back to the raised hands. I see you, Dustin and Aaron, but Joanne in the chat says, I have twins attending Towson as freshmen. They both have housing assignments in Towson A and B, respectively. What dorm is that specifically?
So sorry. Can you repeat that question for me, Dr. Jackie? I was
They
trying
both
to
have
multitask. I was reading as well.
her twins. They both have housing assignments in Housing A and B, respectively. What dorm is that specifically?
Tower A and Tower B, which residence hall is that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tower B.
this is Joanne. I just on the announcement, it just says Tower A and B, and you have residence towers and then Glen Complex. So I didn't know where they were.
No, that's a good question. So Residence Tower is in a class all by itself because it's in a different area of campus. All of the Glen complex towers, they are referred to in our systems as Tower A,
Okay.
Tower B, Tower C, and Tower D. So Tower A is the first tower. So that is it's in the same complex, but it's just right below the plaza. And so Tower B and Tower C and Tower D are all on the Glen Complex Plaza, and that is where the Glen dining facility is as well. So they're in the same vicinity.
Okay. And are they considered premium housing dorms?
No, they're not.
They're not. Okay.
And Joanne did have a follow-up question as well. How do we know if the housing cost is premium housing or not? They received the full bill, but it indicated that housing was estimated for now.
Right. So everybody received a placeholder charge. And now that all of the assignments are done, like the bursar's office will receive their official assignments so that their housing charges can be updated. And that will happen over the course of Monday and Tuesday so that we can make sure students' bills are correct. That is a practice that the universities use every year because they need to make sure the students and families can get a bill before assignments are done. By the time the bills need to be updated, our assignments are completed yet because students are still in the middle of being selected for LLCs and things of that nature. So now that assignments are done, those should be updated next week.
Oh,
Great. I'll take one more question from the chat and then I'm gonna take, there's a lot of hands up. What happens how can they fix if they chose a roommate and the roommate chose them as well, but they didn't get each other? How can that be fixed?
So thank you for that question. That actually should not have happened. So if that is the case, if the student and actually both students can email our office, we can look into that. I do know that a lot of times that when we have any issues with roommates is because someone requests someone and the other person doesn't accept or they don't follow through with the acceptance, because in our instructions it shares that there's like different steps. If they don't hit that finish step, like they have not matched. So hopefully that wasn't the case, because if they have matched and they're in different spaces, we'll figure out what happened, and if we can get them together, we will.
Okay, I'm looking at the time and I really want to get to everyone's question. So Dustin, what happened, Dustin? Was your question answered, Dustin? Is Dustin still on? Okay, Aaron, I'm going to hand the floor over to you. The floor is yours. You can unmute.
Yes, good morning. I had a question.
Morning.
My daughter has been assigned, good morning. My daughter's been assigned to a triple in Barton Hall. And I wanted to know how long will she be there? And also when she does leave, which of the three people will be designated to relocate out of the three?
So that's very good questions, Aaron, thank you so much. So we don't know how long they'll be there. We do know that what we share with students is that as soon as we receive cancellations, we go through and we randomly pick from like the list of triples to offer to, and then like those students in that fall triple situation can either choose to stay together and just keep the 20% refund that they're going to receive for the whole year, as long as there's 3 people in that room, or like they basically are coached to decide amongst each other like who's going to take the permanent space. And if for whatever reason they're unable to come to a consensus, like there's a random like drawing for it for us to pick, like for us to designate the person who will need to pick that permanent space.
Also, one last question real quick.
Yes, sir.
When the person gets reassigned, let's say they're in Barton Hall, which is a premium hall, will they be reassigned within Barton so they don't have to worry about coming to move all their stuff to a whole nother building?
We do our best to try to keep them in the vicinity, but honestly, Aaron, it just depends on where the vacancy is, because we just can't control it. Like wherever the cancellation is, that's where it is. We do provide move-in carts for students to be able to relocate, and we definitely like ask them we provide them with a little bit of flexibility so that they can plan this with their families if they need to.
Okay, so the distinction of the premium hall.
Aaron, we got a lot of hands up.
Okay.
I appreciate you. Try to put it in the chat at the end. We want to get to Danielle. Danielle, the floor is yours.
Hi, good morning. My son was assigned to a triple in Glen Tower A, and I was wondering, are we allowed to bring an additional fridge?
No, like there's no, so we don't permit additional fridges to come in, and we know that that's definitely, that might be a challenge. However, like Glen is right where the dining hall is right there for a lot of our students, and it's in close proximity. Most of our students spend a lot of time in our dining facilities, and that takes care of most of the needs for our students. If there's ADS and accessibility and disability accommodation that needs to happen for the student, then they will go through ADS, and we can definitely provide an additional one if that need is there. But I know that it's not ideal, but like, it's just the space in the room. We want to make sure that it's conducive for all the students that are there.
Great. Thank you so much. Monica,
Thank you.
the floor is yours. Thank you, Danielle. Monica, you can unmute.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My daughter,
3 weeks. 3 weeks?
my daughter was very blessed to meet somebody early on that is incoming freshman. So they went ahead and requested all their premium housing together. They filled their name out, did their names on everything together. You referenced it earlier and said hopefully they hit that final button. I'm hoping that happened too. They did everything together, but they did not get matched. My question is, in addition to emailing and calling housing on Monday, is there a process to have them possibly swap roommates if the roommates agree? They were assigned to the exact same dorm. So we're trying to help the girls because they've already all started buying all of their things together. So trying to understand what steps.
So Monica, can you private message me?
Yes, sir.
So that I just provide me, what will be helpful is if you could provide your daughter's TUID number.
Yep. And the other girls too?
Yes, and the other girls too. Even if you just have her name, that will be helpful. I'm trying to see where I can see my direct messages.
Okay.
I might have to email that to you if I can't find it right now. I need to reach out to the other young woman's mother.
So I'm going to just put the housing email in the chat. And if you could, in your message, just go ahead and put what's going on in the subject. You can put in their presentation follow-up question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
You're welcome.
Thank you all. If you asked your question already, if you can put your hands down, please. Tiffany, I'm gonna take your question now, and then I'm going back to the chat for some more questions, and I'll come back to Lindsay,
Okay.
Virginia, and Shannon. Tiffany, the
Thank
floor is yours. If you asked your question already, please put your hand down if you know how. Thank you.
Good morning. Yes, my question is, my son was in Towson Run last year, and we believe his roommate selected him to come in to the same dorm. However, we went through there were no other updates except for that he's on a waiting list now. And we've called housing, and we're basically just being told we have to wait, but we're 2 weeks out. So I'm concerned, like if I have to rush up to Towson and sign a lease somewhere because he's not going to have anywhere to stay.
Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing your concern, Ms. Tiffany. I appreciate it. And like I said before, like we are, if we could house everybody, we absolutely would. I think that there are some students who missed the returning student housing selection deadline. I don't know if this falls into that, but any who did miss needed to add themselves to the wait list. That's what we're currently working with. And so if we can't guarantee anybody's going to get housing. We're at this point now. I would like do whatever you can to make sure that you can secure housing, because even if students wait, we're just waiting for people to cancel, and I don't want anybody who can like secure housing now elsewhere to wait and risk that. Trying to wait for space for fall, because we are at capacity.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me ask you this, Catherine, this question is for you as well. Because there's a lot of questions and we really want to try to get it to as many people, because this is anxiety time and we're like minutes away from everyone have to move in. So I was wondering, do you have more time to stay on, Catherine and Abbas? Do you?
No,
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I cannot. So I can transfer hosting to you, Dr. Jackie, and
great. Great. I appreciate. Yeah. So we will stay on the 12:30. If we still don't get to your question, Abbas has put his email in the chat. So thank you so much, Catherine. Yeah. If you can do that, that'd be great. Thank you, Abbas. Okay, so back to the chat. My daughter's a freshman this year. She found a roommate and they both requested, you got that. They're going to reach out to you. So Olga, make sure you reach out to Abbas directly. How do we know if the student's dorm is a room with a bathroom or their shared community bathrooms?
08380. Sorry, say that again, Dr. Jackie.
How do we know if the student's dorm is a room with a bathroom or there's shared community bathrooms?
I believe that somebody may have hit it on the head, and that's if they have suite mates, then they likely have a bathroom in their unit, and if they don't, if they just have a roommate, they would have a community one, unless they live in the premium housing, like if they're in Douglas or Barton. Each of those units have a bathroom within it.
Or Tubman.
Yeah, Tubman, right? Tubman and Harris also. And so that's good feedback, actually. So what I'm gonna do with my team is make sure that for future, when we send out the assignments email, that students they understand what type of bathroom they have, so that like they can plan and they don't have to guess or call up to confirm. If I don't know the student's assignment, so I wouldn't know like how to answer that question directly.
I'm going to ask the next two questions together. How do you know the time slot, and what can they do if a student's not comfortable with their roommate?
So how do you know
the time slot? The time slot is usually sent.
Yeah, so basically, like, students select their own time slot. They select when they come up. Like, they select their hour window when they come up on the day that they're assigned to come up. And so if the student is an incoming freshman or an incoming transfer student, they select on either for the 21st or the 22nd, based on the first letter of their last name, A through J, on Wednesday, the 21st. K through Z on Thursday, the 22nd. If they are returning students, they can select a time slot anytime on Friday or anytime on Saturday. As far as like roommate situation pieces, like, we definitely encourage students to reach out to communicate and try to build those relationships with their roommates in advance. If there's a dire need or a dire issue, then like they should reach out to our department for some support. But like if they're in the room with the student and they're navigating, like, the students who are just different than they are, like that's the beauty of college. That's the beauty of life. Like we're gonna be around people who are different from us, and we just really encourage students to get to know and understand one another so that they can do the very best they can to inform themselves and be more aware and do everything that they can to have a great semester. But we do have support within our buildings for students who might need to navigate any roommate issues, our RAs, our resident life coordinators, who are professional staff members who live in the building. Like they're there to help support and navigate any issues that might arise.
Thank you so much. I'm noticing that Michaela is answering a lot of the questions in the chat. So I'm going to take the next 7 hands that are up. Monica, the floor is yours. You can unmute yourself. No, I'm sorry. Lindsay was next. Monica already asked a question. Lindsay, the floor is yours.
Hi. My daughter's a freshman, and my question is, earlier this week, she got a letter that she was in the living learning housing, but then yesterday she was assigned a normal dorm room in one of the Glen Towers. I forgot which one. So I didn't know who to talk to sort that out because I don't really know where she's actually living.
Wait, so what living learning community is she a part of?
The teaching one?
The College of Education?
Yeah.
That's in the towers. That's in one of the towers.
The other people in her suite are not teaching majors, though.
That might be the case because that living learning community may not have filled up, and so like we don't just close the floor off if we didn't get enough or get a lot of students in an LLC. We definitely still feel place because we just, all right, like I said, our capacity. So we're gonna make sure we can get students in. So it could be a student who didn't select an LLC who was assigned to that floor as well.
Okay, then trust the email with the actual roommates we got then.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Virginia, the floor is yours. You can unmute yourself, please.
Hello. My son got an email that he is in Knoll Hall, and it said that some of the rooms are not fully furnished, and I just wondered what exactly that meant.
You know what, Constance, thanks so much for asking. Who is that, Constance, that asked that question?
Virginia.
Virginia, I'm sorry, I went over a little bit. Thank you for, that's the question I was looking at when Dr. Cody was asking another question, because I wanted to answer that. But no, so they are, when we say they're fully furnished with, all of them are. I don't know where that language is. Would you mind like forwarding me that?
Sure.
The housing email address? That would be super helpful for us to correct. But all of our rooms come with, every student will get a bed, a mattress, the dressers, just depending on their unit and how much closet space they have, they might get some additional things. If they don't have closet space, they will get like a wardrobe. So like those things are there in a desk and a chair. So there shouldn't be a student on campus that does not receive that.
Okay, great. And then he also got a note that said that I guess the suite mates, you'll find out when you get your room assignment if you have suite mates or if you just have a roommate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you should have gotten that email yesterday. So all of the information that we have available for him was in that email.
Okay, thank Thank you.
You're
All right,
welcome.
thank you. So I'm gonna pause here now. And our meetings, Family Network is from 11 to 12. So I'm gonna officially adjourn the meeting for those who would have to go. And thank everyone for being here. Remember, become a member of Towson University Family Network. The link is in the chat. Email familynetwork@towson.edu if you need any additional information or support from us. We are here to serve you and look forward to seeing you at our next meeting on September 7th. That day, oh, I should have had it in front of us. Catherine, do you know who's joining us that day? I forgot off the top of my
We
head.
don't have it confirmed yet, but we'll announce in the coming weeks.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much. So it's officially adjourned at 12 noon. We will stay on for those who really need questions answered. Our boss has agreed to stay, and Catherine's gonna give me the host. Catherine, thank you, Constance, so much. Members of the board, if you can stay, great. If not, I do understand. So we're gonna continue taking questions. We were at Shannon. Shannon, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you. My daughter's an incoming freshman. She's been assigned a Tower A in Glen, and the email had 2 suite mates listed, but not a roommate listed. Is that weird?
It's not. So like when the assignments were being done at the time, like we could have received like a last minute cancellation right before we sent them out, and we weren't going to pause assignments to go out to backfill because the backfilling process is basically like we get to the next person on the wait list. We have to give them 5 days to then sign a contract before we can assign them. So that process is rather lengthy. So if she had a cancellation in her room right before, she probably didn't have anybody as a roommate at the time, but she will by the time she arrives. And so we will send reminders to students like when, like throughout, like from now until the start of the semester, to remind them that if they want to see like, you know, their roommates and such, they will be able to access them and access their information on the portal to be able to see who's living with them.
Okay, so you would expect her to know who that is before she moves in?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Joanne Ellis, the floor is yours. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great, thank you. My question is, I'm hearing parents say that their students have been, my daughter's an incoming freshman, and I'm hearing parents say that their student have been assigned to a dorm already. And we have not gotten that information. Is that for all students? Have they already been assigned the dorm, but just not the room number yet? Because I don't have that information.
Did your daughter receive an assignments email yesterday?
No.
So I would, if you can message me directly with your daughter's name, I can and your contact information, I can look that up and get back with you early next week. But if students did not receive an assignment, it is because they don't have one, and we've assigned everybody that we have contracts with. So I know that, so did your daughter go, if your daughter, I would just confirm if she's gone through, if she's completed her housing contract, because all of our freshman students coming in were guaranteed housing if they completed their contract and submitted their advance payment by.
Yes, we did all of that.
Yeah, so if she did that and she still hasn't received anything, can you, I don't know if you know how to direct message here, but I am getting them. So if you want to direct message me in the chat and I can, with her information, TUID would be great. Then I can look that up for you.
I'm gonna give you two. Thank you, and thank you. 2 quick questions from the chat. Are room keys to the residence towers physical metal keys or badges?
Sorry, the me trying to multitask.
Are room keys to the residence towers physical metals, keys, or badges?
So a combination. So students will access their buildings and like the corridors for some buildings via their one cards. So they swipe in or tap depending on the building. But they access their room with their key. It's a physical key.
And are Douglas Hall beds XL or twin size?
I believe they're XL. They're XL twins.
Or as we call them, full.
Not full. They're not full. They're XL twins, so they're long. They're extra long, but they're twins.
Oh, long. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. See, that's why you're here. And from and Famara, the floor is yours. And Famara, go.
Hello?
Okay. Yes. Hi.
I'm here. Hi. My son is a Frenchman coming, but he's visit with me right now in Canada. The first time we didn't know all this. He was supposed to return on the 20th of August. Is not that kind of late for him, or what are some other alternatives that I can do to bring him earlier than that?
Please forgive me, sir. I'm going to ask you to repeat your question for me. I was breaking up just a little bit.
Okay, no problem. I say my son is in Canada with me. He's visiting for vacation. The returning day was supposed to be on the 20th of August. But what all this going on, this is our first time. We don't have that much experience in moving, and it's the firstborns. So is that the possibility for him to come earlier than that, or he's okay to come on the 20th?
20th?
Yeah, the 20th of August. That was the returning ticket, but I can change it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So if you or your son could email us, we if there are extenuating circumstances like travel being one of them, we know that especially for any of our students who might be traveling internationally, that they can't always control tickets. Like he can email us and we can review his early arrival request to see if we can accommodate.
Okay, so he's in Canada, so the return days is on 20.
Yeah, so he should email us to let us know what his situation is and when he's requesting to move in.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Will Suburbans fit in the parking garage?
I will need to look at. I need to get information from the parking office to confirm what the height is on the parking garages. I will send that email when we send out the move-in information and instructions to students. We'll be sure to include that in those instructions so that folks know like what the height limit is.
And what is the refund process for a student that they didn't get the roommate they wanted, so they no longer want to attend the school? What is the refund process?
So if a student is canceling because they are withdrawing from the university, then they would need to really would hope that they would contact admissions so that admissions can make sure that their withdrawal is processed. Admissions then notifies us that they have withdrawn from the university. And at that point, we cancel their contract. And like for any cancellations, it is a $350 cancellation fee. If a student wants to move, wants to cancel right now at this stage, just because they want to cancel, because they want to move off campus, then right now we're at an escalated cancellation fee of $700. If a student wants to cancel for medical or financial reasons and things of that nature, those things are allowable clauses to be released in the contract. Anything that's allowable as a clause in the contract, we can cancel them, but it will still be a $350 contract. But if it's just to move off campus, that is a $700 cancellation fee. And we did that escalation fee because in years past, we've had students wait all the way until August to cancel, both returning and freshmen. So they were holding up the space all along with the intention of not being here. And we had families that were on the wait list, students that were on the wait list that were pretty much anxious the entire summer. So the idea for the escalating cancellation fee that was SGA, Student Government Association approved, was to encourage students to cancel earlier so we can get students off the wait list earlier. So I hope that answers the question about the fee.
I hope so too. Keely, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Kelly.
Kelly, sorry.
Thank you guys for staying late, first of all.
You're welcome.
My question is about dining. My daughter was assigned to Douglas Hall, and I was wondering if Douglas Hall dining was in West Village Commons. And
Yes.
also, thank you. And then also, are the students only supposed to go to their assigned dining, or can they eat anywhere on campus?
They can eat anywhere on campus because they might have a class over by the Glen somewhere. Like, you know, if they want to go to that dining hall, they can, or to Newell. So they can go to any dining facility.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
NK, the floor is yours.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for staying behind. The question I had is that my son paid the residence fee as soon as he accepted admission to the school, but he's still on the waiting list. And I do not live in the US. I don't know much about accommodation. So now I'm in a very difficult situation of wanting to look for accommodation in a place I'm not familiar with. So is there a time frame within which he can get accommodation of the waiting list, because he is on the 140th person on that list?
And as you answer that, there's a question in the chat that says, are freshmen guaranteed housing when they're on that wait list?
Okay, so thank you so much for the question. I want to kind of address the easier one, which is the freshmen. So freshmen are guaranteed housing for if they complete their contract and submit their advance payment by the May 17th deadline. If they did not do that, then they're not guaranteed housing. We did, because of the FAFSA delay, we did, even though we closed our wait list to all other students on May 17th, after May 17th, we left our housing request open for our freshman students who might have waited to make a decision based on FAFSA. And we left that open until June 12th. And when we left that open, we did state that this is not a guarantee for housing. We will backfill if the space exists. And so if there's a freshman on the wait list, like, please know that we know that they're freshmen. We are there because we typically house freshman students in different areas. We are operating from that wait list as well. And we're doing our best to get them housed, but there is no guarantee that we will be able to house them. So we're moving and grooving and doing everything that we can to make sure that every bed that's vacant, especially after we received cancellations last week, that we go in and we backfill, and we're doing the best we can. With regards to the question that was asked with the young man who's quite high on the wait list, I would we're not going to get to anybody who's, I don't know the number, but I would say if they're pretty high on the wait list, I would be looking for off-campus housing or another housing option. And we provide those options in every email that we send every week. We have off-campus housing.towson.edu. That is a resource for students who are on the wait list to go through to see if there are any options there for them. Just for us, we're doing our very best to make sure that those resources are in front of them. But if they're high on the wait list, they should be looking at some other housing options so they can make sure they have housing so they can be close to campus or at least in the vicinity.
Thank you so much. I guess we have to look through there's a link that I saw on the link, the questions answered. Do we just go on into that
there's
link?
There's a lot of hands up. I'm so sorry.
Okay,
NK.
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of hands up.
Okay.
I know Aaron had an opportunity to ask before, so I'm gonna come back to you, Aaron. Heidi, you have the floor.
Hey, thanks for answering all these questions. My daughter is a sophomore coming in, and she's going into 10 West. And the original roommate that she had chosen is not coming back. So she has a random roommate now, which is fine. But question is she guaranteed to be on the same floor that she originally picked in the dorm?
So for any of our returning students, they went through a returning student selection process, which meant that they actually picked where they wanted to be. So where they picked, like, should be exactly the same. The only moves we made, if we had to make them, was if we mistakenly left the room open for selection, like in a community that was meant for like a living learning community. In no situation, if we move the student, we move them to a comparable place. So for instance, if they're in 10 West and they're in an apartment, we wouldn't move them down to a 10 West kitchenette or vice versa. Like, so they will be basically where they selected for returning students.
Okay, because she did select one of the apartments in the building.
Yeah, she should still be in an apartment.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So
to help out with that, not residence tower, 10 West floors 2 through 5 are kitchenettes, but anything 6 and above, that's an apartment.
Right, and they did choose.
We definitely are not going to get to everyone, obviously. So, Michaela, if you can put the email address to housing in the chat and the phone number in the chat. I want to Alan and Cheryl says, will the move-in process be the same with parking and crew helpers for the students with early arrival that are moving into the living learning community?
Unfortunately not, because we don't have move-in crews throughout early arrivals. So early arrivals would need to, they would have to unload for themselves.
Okay, is there a site that lists all the items that can be in the rooms and things that shouldn't be bought?
Yes, there's a packing list. I'm sure either me and Michaela will see who's quicker. Can drop in the chat so that folks can see. This is called Packing for College. And so I'm putting that in. I bet you Michaela's going to beat me. I bet you she's going to. No, I beat Michaela. Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
On it. So thank you, Michaela.
All right. Back to the raised hands. Nick J. The floor is yours, Nick J.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Thank y'all for staying. I would like to ask y'all about moving dates.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the moving in link. This link takes you to the moving in webpage.
But I got a specific question, like.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Like the seconds, they're based on like the last name, A through J. But move in like Saturday, right?
So
it sounds like Nick J, you're gonna have to email them.
Yeah. So is your student an incoming student? Like, is they're a freshman?
Yes, sir.
And you're saying that they won't be able to move in until Saturday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, send us an email with their TUID and information and make that request, and we will do our very best to help them.
Thank you. Thank you. SM, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome.
Yeah, there were so many parents asking about say that their children had preference for double rooms, but they're getting triples. And there are also some who say that their kids were given doubles, yet the request was for triples. So how will it be resolved?
So, like, if a student is in if the student is in a fall triple, like they're in a fall triple, if there's students who are in doubles and they requested triples, like if they. We didn't really ask if they wanted to be in a Tower C 3-person unit, and we filled those. We did our very best to make sure that a lot of the people that are in triples, if they requested, if they were in the 3-person group, we encouraged that. If they're in a 3-person group, we made sure that they got into a Tower C 3-person room or into one of the permanent triples. or even a, like, you know, we basically kind of converted some rooms to triple, so that we did try to accommodate that. If somebody requested it and they had three people in their group, but then when the third person dropped out, but they only had 2 people in that group, we assigned them as a double. And so that there wasn't a lot of that. There were very few and far in between. So if anybody is requesting to be in a triple with someone and they have another roommate they want to room with, they can wholeheartedly like email us. We will help them out.
Great, thank you. Christiana, and then Donovan, and then Aaron. We're getting there.
Oh, good afternoon.
And real quick, I'm sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
Heidi, is your hand still up because you have another question, or you're
No.
done? But go ahead, Christiana, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Good afternoon. My daughter is a transfer student. She was offered the housing and was supposed to receive an email yesterday, but unfortunately, she went in, she was unable to access her email. It was saying like, she's telling me that the email was locked. So I don't know how we'll be able to know what housing she was offered.
So if a student didn't receive an email yesterday, please have them email housing@towson.edu so that we can help them.
Okay.
We'll be able to confirm what their status and situation is. We wouldn't be able to share students' information with anybody but them, and especially not in a platform like this. So we want to make sure we protect your students' privacy.
Oh, me and her just called. She told me she gave me access, but I'm now not at home, so she'll not be able to join the meeting to say, okay, give me access for me to know. But I guess I'll call on Monday.
Yeah, so just have your daughter email us. That's gonna be really easy for us to respond to. So especially if she's emailing us from her TU email address, then we know that we're talking to the student on their email address.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Donovan, the floor is yours.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for extending. My name is Lisa Parker. My daughter is an incoming freshman, and has medicine that she has to put in the refrigerator, and her medicine is probably going to take up a lot of room, and I know it's not fair to her roommate. How does this process work?
So what I would do is I would have her contact our Accessibility and Disability Services office, because those types of requests are approved through that office. They'll let us know if the student needs an extra refrigerator, because we do have students that are in that situation. So ADS would be the contact.
Okay, and you said just contact you. I'm sorry, I'm writing. ADS. The ADS?
Yes. I will, let me plug their information. I think Michaela, this might be the one you beat me on. Hold on. Michaela, let's see.
Can you Melvin it?
Okay, so while you do that, we'll go back to Aaron. Thank you for your patience, Aaron.
Hello, I have a quick question. As I said before, my daughter is in premium housing in Barton and a triple. What I wanted to know is if she gets reassigned, or whoever in that triple gets reassigned, will they be still in the premium housing of either Douglas or Barton?
So it will be wherever we have the space. If they decide, they can decide to stay together if they want, then they all will stay where they are. But if wherever we receive the cancellation is what we will offer her. And it'll depend on, of course, if we receive the cancellation and if it's the same like gender identity. So I know that we to get like male cancellations, then we wouldn't have anything to offer any of our female students who are in triples, as an example.
So there's a possibility.
Depends on wherever the space is available.
So there is a possibility that there could be a downgrade as far as premium down to regular.
Yes, and I'll tell you, some students actually prefer that, like, you know, because some students were placed in triples in places that we just have triples, and like they didn't want premium housing, and so we did our very best to make sure that we accommodated them out, like, you know, into a multiple rate. But like I said, we will first, if we have space in the same type of housing or the same area, we will do our best to make sure that we can offer them something in the area. The only time we will move them is if we didn't have it, and that's just a possibility.
Thank you.
Great, we're getting there. Is the AC unit permanently in the window at Scarborough Hall? Also, is there a way we can get a full view of the room?
I believe so. I don't know. Like that question about the AC unit, like if you can email that to us, that would be great. I'm not familiar enough with that. I'm wrapping up my first year here, you guys. So it's been a ride, and it's been a pleasure to serve and to support these students. The other question, Dr. Cody?
A full view. I know, I don't know the link though, to get a full view.
We currently don't have a full view of the rooms. However, like our marketing team and our marketing and IT team did do some extensive work this summer with a vendor to do virtual tours. And so we did get some footage captured. We're currently having that developed. I don't know if it's going to be in time for folks to see before they come in for move-in, but the idea is to make sure that we have them for students who are going to go through our return to student process so they can see other rooms, and for next year's first year class so that they can see the faces and things like that.
Great. Joanne Alice.
Hi. Okay, so I just spoke to you earlier, and thanks again for extending the meeting. I apologize if I'm redundant, but she did her email about her class, about her her location. I'm just confused about, because one line says roommate, and then there's one name, and then there's also another section that says roommate, soulmates, or sorry, suite mates, and there are 3 names. So I'm not sure which category she's in.
Gotcha. You said soulmate, so I'm like, I didn't know we were matchmaking, but no, suite mates. That section is basically everybody within their suite. So the roommates is anybody in their bedroom with them. Suite mates is everybody who's in that suite. So if you notice that her roommate is probably also listed in the suite mate category, right?
Yes.
So that means that there are 4 people in that unit.
Wow.
So they're probably what if they're like Tower A or something? Tower
C, I believe. Yeah.
Tower C. So there's the 1 bedroom on the left side, and then there's a bathroom in the middle that they share, Jack and Jill bathroom. And then in the other room, those other 2 students that are listed are in that other bedroom.
Okay. Now it looks like one of those names are a male.
So so it's going to be important to talk to any of your students, because if they requested gender inclusive housing, and in that situation, like they would have a student who likely has a different gender identity. So you would need to talk with your student about what they applied for and like in their application.
I'd like to make a comment.
We have another question.
Okay.
Sincere?
Yes.
Hi.
Sorry, thank you. I noticed that when I looked at my daughter's bill, the housing fee payment that we had to make, that $350, wasn't applied to the fall semester. It was actually applied to the summer. When they make the adjustments for the housing, are they going to then apply the housing fee to the fall semester, or will it remain under the spring semester?
Yeah, advance payment by process and procedure from the Student and University Billing Office. Their housing advance payment is applied to the spring, not to the fall. So that will continue to be applied to the spring.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Someone had a comment?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment about the off-campus housing, because my son was in this position.
And hopefully you can make it really quick.
Yeah, it's gonna be quick. I was just gonna say, because we chose Altus Road because he was on the waiting list to like 87 folks, so we went ahead with them, and he stayed with them for 2 years, until he decided he wanted to commute. You just make sure you read everything from these off-campus housing. He stayed in a 4-bedroom with 3 roommates the first year, and then this last year, 2-bedroom. And when we decided we weren't going to carry over, we actually signed for in March. It made us actually have to get someone to take over the lease when we, realized he got a job and he was gonna actually commute from home. So just read those documentation because they make it really difficult. There's so many students on the waiting list, and we were still unable to get a person's name that we could transfer the lease to. So we had to post it on the Facebook page and just wait for someone to say they needed a place. And I thought that just made it really difficult as a parent to try to, get out of the lease because we had already agreed that we would stay for the 2024-25 school year, even knowing that there were people waiting.
I thought you said it was quick.
Well, I'm just saying.
Let me get to one last question. I appreciate you, Pamela. Thank you so much. Alan, ask a question, then we're going to close. And thank you all again. Abez, thank you so much for staying. Michaela, thank you. Alan, you have a
yes,
question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes.
My son
I guess it's Cheryl.
Yes, ma'am. He is enrolled and we're working to enroll in the Air Force ROTC. I put this in the chat, but I didn't get an answer. He's with a crosstown agreement. He's in one of the LLCs. He's going to be moving in on August the 15th. But he has orientation in Maryland during the 21st through the 23rd. So it's like a conflict between that. So we wanted to know, we live closer to the University of Maryland than we do. Can he come home after he moves in and we transport him back and forth to orientation, or we need to work something out with them?
So sorry, there was some movement or something and that was messing up my hearing of your question. So what I think I hear you saying is that there's a conflict for moving in and you're wondering if he can move in after?
No, he's fine. He's in the LLC. He moves in on August 15th.
Got it. Okay.
But yeah, so that's cool. That worked out. But he had mandatory orientation at University of Maryland Air Force ROTC on the 21st through the 23rd. Now I know he has advising on the 23rd, so he's got to be there for that. We may have to work something out. But can he come back home during that time? Because we're closer to the University of Maryland than we are in Towson. He would have already been moved in.
I would connect with new student family programs just to let them know about the situation, so that they understand why he can't be at certain places, and they may have some alternative options for him. I just can't speak for that office, but I would definitely reach out to them just to let them know.
I'm sorry, what's the office I should contact again?
The new student and family programs.
Okay, will do. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Charla, as you can see, we're gonna make sure you have time at the next meeting to let everyone know you're here. We are going to close. Thank you again, Mr. Hill, Michaela. Families, please email familynetwork@towson.edu if you need additional support, or reach out to housing directly. There were a lot of billing questions in the chat as well. Bursars, they're open 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll take your call directly, as well as financial aid also. But thank you again, everyone. Enjoy the weekend. Stay cool. I know we're hot up here in New York City. Looking forward to seeing everyone in the new semester. Thank you again.
Can I make one comment?
Sure.
So I know I got a few direct messages. I did my best to save the chat so that I can go back through over the course of the first couple of days next week to get back to anybody who left me their contact information with questions. So I will do my very best to get back to you, but for whatever reason, if we don't, please email us at housing@towson.edu and we'll do our very best to get back to you. All right. Thank you for having us, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.